Good day, Internet. We're here today for a particularly late, not so nasty live stream. Now, I was meaning to go live earlier, but it's been like a jam-packed week. Just got back from out of state at a convention I described earlier to some of the viewers who showed up at a more reasonable time. But yeah, it was a leadership summit, and it was just I was a little skeptical um, because last leadership summit we had the last leader of the Black Panthers, Elaine Brown, speaking, and I was able to chop it up with her for a while. I was everybody. She was being rushed um, in a good way, and I was interested in hearing because they had Black Panther housing that they were talking about coming out this year, um, and I just saw the post on social media about it opened, and I was hoping to like talk to her. I want to actually take a picture in front of it. I mean, because I believe in the idea. I think every uh, place should have it. It's housing geared towards the most vulnerable people. Um, like people who are terminally homeless, getting out of prison, stuff like that. And I think they got like under 80 rooms, but they paid over 80 million. And she was able to raise that by hook or crook or however she got it. I mean, it was. I heard some stories about like police brutality suits helping some of the stuff. So, I mean, it's tragic that it came that way. It should be cities funding that kind of shit regularly. Because we got we got homelessness issues everywhere, and it's just like right now we got emergency housing when it gets real cold, like below freezing. All right, man. Why don't we have that year round? Why don't we organize to see to it corporations can't own housing, since they're the ones who are driving up these prices? We got more empty houses than we got homeless people. Um, so it's just like I'm saying that to say like the love and respect I have for someone like Elaine Brown. She's not a billionaire. She's not loaded like that. She had to like work hard to get that money, and instead of like putting in her account and living off the interest a few times over, she decided to um, give back to the community. But it's just like we shouldn't be dependent upon that kind of like the philanthropists, the people who got more money, enough money to wipe out all homelessness, but they're buying up the homes to drive up the prices. Um, yeah, they got all the money. They have the media that trains people to respect them. Um, so I was loving Elaine Brown's speech, and I wish we had her again because I was interested in her perspective on Kamala because she already and so many classic intellectuals who have observed our system. Like I'm talking, your Black Panthers, your SNCC members, Kwame Ture's, H. Rap Browns. They've always. I was looking at a chopping up a Fred Hampton clip, and he was speaking on this exactly. He was talking about we need an education program because if you don't know what you're doing it for, you can just like get caught up in a movement, then you start stealing from um, the organization that's there to help you. Um, then ironically, he was like, we could have black imperialists if we black capitalist black imperialists if we're not careful. And Kamala, I wouldn't describe her as black, especially when she was the California's first Indian attorney general. Um, and she locked up all those black people. But uh, yeah, they understood. Like they'll dangle a Barack Obama in their face, um, because it's beyond um, white supremacy. It's corporate supremacy. Like they'll do the diversity, but the people who they hire serve the same agenda. So um, yeah, I was interested in getting her perspective. I knew she would be someone who would be like, fuck no, now we're not about to celebrate Kamala. Right? I thought they were switching the speaker out because it was gonna, because it was this infusing of money to the organization, which I'm grateful for, but I'm also skeptical of anytime something like that you hear like, oh, the company got bought up. It's like 114 million. This is like full screen when AT&T bought them up. All right. So it's like it sounds like, oh, we're gonna get more money. No, it's like control. Um, and yeah, so I was like kind of like worried when we swapped out um the speaker, because we went from leader of the Black Panthers to the brother of the new Captain America, right? And the thing I find truly ironic is um, Elaine Brown, when she was talking about the stipulations, when she signs contracts to do these um, speaking arrangements. Uh, she said one of the stipulations is there's no American flags, period. She's like, we don't do that. That's a sign of oppression. Like, we do not celebrate it. We are not American. Paraphrasing. Um, yeah, it's a freezing issue on the one of the streams, but yeah, she was against having the American flag in whenever she's doing a speaking arrangement. It can't be in the background. That's a part of her contracts. And the next person to take the stage in her replacement is the brother of the new Captain America, whose whole outfit is the American flag. I find that just interesting. So it's but yeah, we had some amazing speakers though. We were I thought it was going to be like them trying to pressure us to like vote Kamala. Like all this money is just like, yeah, we're going to get out there because it's other groups have been co-opted. So far I haven't seen that, but that's like one of those bridges too far. But I mean, when I was talking to one of the speakers, he was an activist and a professor and an author, and he was breaking down the American penal system, the criminally injustice system. Um, um, yeah, so we were talking, and I was just like expressing this. I was just like, I brought up Kamala, and with the understanding of, I've already talked to people who like they're definitely pro Kamala, but he just laughed at it, because he was talking about these inmates and these um, correctional officers, and how they have like the tokenism in these structures to make it seem like it's um, uh, like it's benefiting black people. But if it's run by black people or whatever color people were fucking over, um, yeah, there's that means that they're cool with it. And then they offer these people like extreme amounts of money. And I got family um, who benefited from that. I got family that's like they were wardens at prisons, and then they retired, hanging out with governors and shit, right? And so yeah, I got like uh, heavy on that Kamala mindset because they were groomed in that same environment. And you look at how black people are disproportionately in the military. Less than 14% of the population over almost 30% of the military population. We also take the majority at the prisons. So yeah, it's just when you see those things, and it's like looks like it's particularly marketed towards black people. It's usually not a good product. Um, it's just like, well, that's one thing I learned in business class. We were like looking at how they marketed certain products towards certain communities. All of the poisons were directed at black and gay community. Like disproportionately, they advertise like smoking shit, or alcohol, malt liquors, um, stuff that they viewed as not so good, and they had all the evidence to back that up. So that's why it's just like I'm always skeptical when like somebody says I only mess with black dudes. Well, that's you're marketing something specifically to the black community. It's bad news. I'm staying away. Steer clear. It's just no. I don't trust it. Was this the new menthol? You got some menthol genitals? Don't believe it. But yeah, yeah, and the Kamala. I mean, I would say it's marketed towards black people. I don't think it's supposed to. I think they're making it seem like black people are okay with it, and then they got a few because, like, my family who's benefiting, because I had a brother who just had the most insane conversation because it's just like when it comes to Kamala, and this is all Democrats. Their whole position is, oh, it's you gotta beat the other guy. Okay, but what are you voting for? No, you got what if Trump funded genocide? What if he like just gave a bunch of weapons to people who are like killing kids and just needlessly destroying historical artifacts and stealing this indigenous tribe's native land? And yeah. What if Trump did that? But I was just like, well, I can't see the Democrats not doing that as well. Like they'd be on board with all of his worst shit, probably go further. Because at least like Trump had restraints on some of the bullshit rhetorically. Uh, Hillary, she was just open about it. Trump was like at least calling out TPP, you know. And it's just like fucking um, back in the '90s. Last time a third party got over 19%, Ross Perot, he was on the debates. That was the last time they had like a third party debate, and he destroyed both Clinton and what was it? Fuck, it's a bill named after the cat I'll usually bring up, Dole. um, but yeah, um, it's a recognition now. Democrats are worse for me. That's why it's just like I never got mad at the Trump people. Because if I got mad at them, I would have to get mad at the Democrat people, the people who were just like we got to vote Democrat even more because they became the most annoying. Because it was like I remember it was a point when it was just like Trump was being targeted by the FBI, right? And it was like these hillbilly, redneck, uh, your mind's interpretation of when I say backwoods racist Trump supporter, right? And yeah, they would be saying shit like, "Oh man, the FBI, man, fuck the FBI, they going after our boy." Just like, yeah, no, they went after my boys too. Fred Hampton, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, the whole crew. Um, so it's just like I'm like on board, but then I'm talking to my friend who's like one of those paid organizers, and it's just like do what you do, but like watch who's cutting your check, right? And it's just like what was at this university that had all the Pfizer hall and all this shit. They also had all of these COVID testing things. It was just like it was crazy. They're still promoting all that shit, and yeah, and it's just like, but yeah, look, watch who's funding you, right? One of my friends was being funded by people who don't have his best interests at heart. Man, that's a long story because we also got into a debate. I was like pro Bernie. He was like, man, fuck Bernie. And I'm like, fuck Bernie now too. I see what, like he's been co-opted. They got to him. And it's like, I don't blame him. CIA probably got some threats on his head. um, but yeah, it's just like, I never thought it was going to be vote for this person and change the world. Democracy is not a spectator sport. It's something you gotta get involved with. You know, the presidents don't change without movements. Um, so it's just like I feel like people like Bernie, they were there to destroy the movement. He was exposing just the most fucked up, corrupt, shitty candidate. Him and Tulsi. Tulsi destroyed one of the. It was just somebody deplorable. It's just like the diversity hire, representation of the Democrats and the corporations that own them, raping of our society. Kamala Harris. Right, she was the girl who called out. She called out Joe Biden. He's so racist. He uh, had this anti-busing system that affected me because I was in Canada. Um, so he's so bad. But then he signed the 1994 crime bill, and I'm all about that. I'll lock up people, like refuse to let them go because they're good slave labor. They're good workable people. I'll prevent um, someone on death row from like having exonerating evidence because this is what I do. Um, just horrible human being. Um, and yeah, she was like laughing about locking up truant the parents of truant kids, um, like poor struggling motherfuckers, while she let Steve Mnuchin go, kick thousands of people out, cause all kinds of homelessness. Um, and then he ended up working on Trump's treasury, secretary of the treasury. He's in charge of our money. She like biggest criminal, robbing people, still in their homes, and now he's in charge of everything, thanks to Kamala Harris. So a vote for Harris is a vote for Trump. I mean, a vote for Trump is a vote for Trump. So if Trump is that bad, count above two. Or really, it's like I said, just fucking revolt. Bernie seemed to actually want change. I mean, I believed it. He kept talking about healthcare. Uh, thing I realized, um, for Bernie can't go after one industry like that because you look at who actually funds it: BlackRock, uh, Blackstone. They call it the most ugly shit black, the most evil shit black, because they want to tarnish it. Now they got someone telling you got to vote for the devil because she's black now. um, yeah, so it's just yeah, so Bernie went after one facet of these hedge fund managers who run our reality. Um, and of course they got all these other. The media is one of their bitches. Um, um, all of these uh, um, assets that they have that are um, dispersed all throughout the world. Like they will throw everything at you. Um, and CIA, our government, FBI. That's just like some of the tools and the tactics that they use. Um, so it's just like Bernie just saying, "I'm going to go after one." I mean, you're doomed to fail. Like we need somebody who just stands on just ending corporations, no corporate subsidies, and all of these criminals who have lobbyists that corrupt our politics, which should be illegal. Then they have um, I got like a weird thing when I did the thumbs up, another thumbs up. I don't even know if that someone else did that or what's going on. But but all of the lobbyists who corrupt our politics and the businesses that fund them, that run our government, because we all know it's corruption. We all know it's fucked up. All of that money that they took from us, like, needs to be taken back. At least like everything above 10 million, and while we criminally investigate all of the people um, who are involved with that criminality, right? Um, and it's just like 10 million. That's very generous, especially for somebody who probably engaged in crime. But I'm willing to have some kind of investigation where we have like the higher ups roll over on one another and we find out who's doing the actual dirt. Can't be like was it How I Met Your Mother when Uh, Barney Stinson was the fall guy for all of the criminal shit that the company that he worked for did. We can't have that. I don't want a fall guy. I want the actual guy. And we gotta, like, I'm open. The people, the Gear team could show up. They make their point. My whole purpose is to turn that shit into a reality television show. Um, yeah, I would love to see the criminals who run this shit. Uh, uh, see what it looks like to get their first overdraft fee. Um, but yeah, that's like that's my alternative. That revolutionary act of just bringing the criminals who got us here into justice, acknowledging that the federal government is completely illegitimate. Kamala Harris, it's been a weekend. She got all of the delegates to become the nominee for the Democrats. Who voted for her? Did you vote for her? That is the Democrat Party. Did they have any voter input? Right. At least with Bernie, they fucked him over. At least they made it seem like, okay, we'll give you the right to vote. We'll spend millions, billions of dollars giving you the right to vote, and then just make it completely moot. We're going to put in who we put in. We chose for you. We know best. It's illegitimate. Um, all of the crazy shit that they're funding, like we show leniency towards the whistleblowers. We get like Edward Snowden. Uh, we get Julian Assange out here, get him back to work, get him some reparations along with Snowden, and we get them going after the people who went after them. That's going to include a lot of your politicians that you're like, I got to vote for them because the other guy's worse. No, that's like that is not the way. Tell me I'm wasting my vote. Well, uh, you can't form a line if you're scared to stand alone. I do not mind. I'm not. Yeah, I voted for the Democrats one time, once, and it's just like fool me once, shame on you. LOL. Hedge funds that run our reality. Very true though, and it's just like it's shame. It's a shame how true it is. And it's just like we got to do something about it. It's just like everybody knows it. That's why they throwing in all kinds of third party because they know. Here's the thing. Trump said that the Democrats rigged the election. They probably rigged some elections too. Um, I believe it. That's just it's easy for me to believe um, because I know I saw all kinds of Trump paraphernalia, like especially in Florida. That was crazy. All these Trump shirts, Trump this, Trump that. Um, I saw enthusiasm for Trump, and it's just like the Trump people. I we were simpatico on some issues. Then they just like a lot of the times I mean they would by definition have to take a hard left and just confuse the shit out of me because like it's just it led to them like voting for someone who is clearly not working in their best interest, right? Um, and it's just like no policy. And it's another thing, Kamala. What's the policy? Only thing I seen was you got to vote Kamala because we need the diversity. And it's just like I had the diversity. We had the black president. No, thank you. Not that guy. Not someone who is forced upon us, who's been selected by these corporations. Um, yeah, it's just like it's just like this corporate supremacy has got to stop. Um, and well, and getting back to the initial um, revelation, in the leadership summit thing I was invited to. It was just like, yeah, I was heartened by the fact that it just uh, I didn't hear like the people who were there were just so simpatico with like all of their just wisdom, and I'm talking about like a young age. We had these little workshops, and it was like they started going crazy with what was it, that Kendrick Lamar song, like because we were just we were having this moment. We were starting to wrap up, and then all of a sudden, it's just like everybody started just getting up and dancing. It was just like the beginning of the song, which I hadn't even like recognized. I haven't heard the song. I only listened to the song because it was like, oh, like the social media was going crazy. Like my family post that kind of stuff, and um, it's just like I stay above it. I don't ascribe to any artist for the gimmicks that they display when building up attention for something that they're working on. But I do fuck with Kendrick Lamar, and it's just like Drake, I wasn't too ex- interested in hear what he had to say. For me, he jumped at the shark when he had that Kiki, little Riri. It was like he just making songs of the fans he wants to fuck, and it's just like if you using your platform to get laid, man. It's just like do what you do. um, but it's just like it was. Um, yeah, I just jumped the shark, and also, I guess he definitely has some ghostwriters, so he's as good as the people who write for him. It's just like also, if you are in comedy and you got other people writing for you, you're not a comedian. You're a word model, right? If you're in hip hop, and unless you like just do not have a voice, but but like if you're in hip hop and you're just like reading other people's word, the other person is the artist. You're the whatever you want to call yourself. And it's just like, but like for him to go to the, I don't know, it just all of that stuff. I was just like, I listened to the Kendrick. I didn't hear the whole album, but yeah, I really fuck with Drake after all of that stuff. It was like, matter of fact, when he first came in, what was it? You the fucking, but I didn't even listen to that shit. That was like, years after he got in. Someone played Successful, and yeah, then I was like, that's when I started like listening. Um, but like this whole when I was at the leadership summit, the kids were they were listening. They turned up when the Kendrick Lamar song came on. I was caught off guard by it, and uh, then we had like this workshop, and then they were asked, what did Kendrick Lamar? He brought out the hood. He did all this stuff. What did he drop the ball on? What could he have done better? And they said what I said in one of my previous live streams when someone asked a question about it. But it was yeah, the he could have talked about something political. He played that song 5 times straight, and it's just like it's just like personal. He's talking about somebody baby, talking about all this personal shit. He could have like used that as a platform to do something bigger. It was paraphrasing. I'm like, yeah, because that's my whole thing. It's just like, motherfucker, all the shit going on in the world. It's the motherfucker who put you on as an artist. I mean, you already, when King Kunta, that's one of my shits. But he said, rapper with a ghostwriter. What the fuck happened? Because I found out another artist who I thought was cool at one point. They had a ghostwriter. Like used to be one of my favorite artists, Jay Z. I thought he did this whole thing where he had the writing, but he just had people ghostwriting for him. So yeah, I was, um, yeah, got more respect. I guess Kendrick is the artist, Drake is the entertainer. But still, they Kendrick, man, you need to go to Gaza, bro. Go to Gaza, make some shit on Netanyahu. Make some shit on the people who dying from the weapons that we produce. I mean, shit, I'd do it. I don't got that kind of money to have the protection I need, but yeah. Um, Kendrick the Great. Kendrick has been doing that. Hold on. and all his other projects. Doing, I mentioned a lot before I noticed your comment. That Drake thing was an ongoing beef. He been waiting on for 10 plus years. Um, yeah, that's why I noticed um the King Kunta. When he first said it, I was like, he wouldn't say that if it was about Drake, because um, that's the first person. The first time I heard him was on one of Drake's albums, and he wasn't even accredited on the song. But now they updated it, so he is. But like with the app I was using, he was not. I was like, who is this? I know it's not Drake. It just said it was Drake. Um, put two and two together later after discovering him outside of that. Um, and it's just like he's got, you better not say nothing bad about Kendrick in the LA area. Like it is crazy. I got family in Inglewood, and I was at a barbecue. This was like a few years ago. This was after Mad City came out, but it was uh, um one of my cousin's friends started talking about Kendrick, and I had just got that Mad City. I just like started getting to know it, and I was like, oh, mentioning some stuff, and she was like, no, Section 80, that's the best. It's Section 80. And I'm like, that was like she hadn't even heard Mad City. She was still stuck on Section 80. And she was like, you can't say nothing bad about him. Like if you sound like you're being critical, she will snap at you. So it's like it's a level of just respect and understanding, and yeah, I guess it's that kind of same respect because it was reported that it's Rick Ross. Um, he got socked up for playing Kendrick Lamar in Canada. So you better not say nothing faulty about Drake in Canada. They had the maple leaf stickers. Same people who colonized that land and killed the natives. Sorry, he's been making political statements with his project. Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, I gotta maybe I just gotta hear the whole album. Maybe the song would was it they not like us. It's just a prelude into all the stuff he getting into. Um, they got the DEA mixed up with the ZCA. They want to lock niggas up. They want to make new slaves. Um, Mad City was a classic. Yeah, now I remember it was around that time. It was a lot of interesting stuff I was able to come across. A lot of I was discovering other conscious rappers. Shortly after that was like, what was it? Logic friend introduced me to. I was like, yeah, it was man. But I guess the day that changed my life um, was discovering Boots Riley. um, he's with the Coup. I and then like after discovering him, like I remember people mentioning him before and saying Bay Area, and I always thought they were talking about Bootsy Collins or some shit, It was like, yeah, I hear it and I just think Bootsy Collins and like hip hop, and I'm like, so Bootsy Collins is rapping. I mean, more power to him. That's just it's just something that I didn't jump to go listen to. I discovered him when I was doing a video on Venezuela, and I was like looking for clips, right? And then it was just like um, uh, I ended up like adding like what was it? Uh, Code Pink, because they were it was their video stuff that I used quite a bit, and and then they posted something on their social media because I followed them on Twitter. I still call it Twitter. Only X I respect is Malcolm, and plus X they don't let me stream. But anyways, um, yeah, they posted him like he was giving a speech. It went into an award for um, "Sorry to Bother You," and he was like, everybody out there, every artist needs to be using um, their voice to stop war with Venezuela. And he was like going into their plight and just like the media has been lying to you. They lied to you about every war. Paraphrasing, but it was just like I was like, "Who is this cat?" I'm gonna check out this movie. Checked out the movie, and then I found out he was also into hip hop, and his shit slap. It's just like he's. I was reluctant to listen to it because it's just like, man, it'd be dope. It'd be sad if he was this dope, but not like an amazing artist. Um, but yeah, he's one of those people, and not just musically, um, just like he had the uh, I'm a Virgo show or series. I'm hoping it's coming back. But yeah, it was eye opening. He's got this um, underdog song that he did like just a spoken word version of at one of his speeches. And it was just like he started it like that. I didn't even listen to the regular song until after heard his spoken word version of it. Um, yeah. Subsequently, um, I've done like speaking arrangements, been at like strikes or whatever. Um, and when it's my opportunity to speak, I would just let in with a spoken word poem, not my his, but my own. So it's like, yeah, it's very inspirational. I mean, outside of that, it's just like we building the same world. So like, you hear him break down shit, and I'm talking like he was on Bill Maher's show on ABC or whatever. This was like back in the '90s, or no, right after 9/11. And it was just like you hear the inner. He was like the only person dead on center when it came to understand the power dynamics that were surrounding the war, and he was being contended by everybody else, like made it seem like he was crazy, but he was the only person on the right side of history when it came to um, the members on that panel, and including Bill Maher. That's why they never brought him back. So it's just like he's one of those people I respect. KRS-One, I got back heavily into him as well. One thing they all do, I don't know shit about their sex life really, but everything is revolutionary. And it's just like, yeah, I mean, I guess it's some love songs. Boost Riley got some. Last Night. Oh, no, that's another song. I want to. Was it? Fuck. Um, I'm here to laugh, I'm here to laugh, love, fucking drink liquor, and make the damn revolution come quicker. So it's like it's love. He's got like he talks about stuff, but it's always he's got a song talking to his daughter, understanding his kids are listening too. So it's just like it's always a message. I'm 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 sure. Uh, if he had like the world's ear like Kendrick had, it'd be a totally different message rather than Drake is fucked up. But like I said, I haven't listened to the album yet, um, so I'll brace myself for the impact on that. But Kendrick is amazingly talented though. Yeah, was it To Pimp a Butterfly? That was my shit. I was like on that for a minute, and it was just so well produced too. And it's just like you got the King Kunta. That's that's still on my gym playlist. King Kunta. Black man taking no losses. Man, that's some powerful shit. But also, I will be remiss if I didn't um, bring up E40. He got a song. He got so many slappers that were like I was sleeping on for a minute because he lost me after his hyphy shit. Um, I was like, and ironically, that was when he was getting his shine, right? But it was like on the hyphy that man, I just it was like something I was hearing a lot in the Bay, and it was just by that point I was just I mean, he had his own lane, started doing the other stuff. Um, wasn't as substantive, he got whatever. Um, like we listened to fucking in a major way. That's got some hitters on it. He's got some silliness. Fody does what he do, but it's just like he got some shit that connected with me when I first heard it. And uh but yeah, so I dropped off with the hyphy movement shit. But then um it was like years after I saw like it was an interview and he was saying that was his least favorite album. He was like he was ashamed of it. He was feeling pressure from the label, all this shit. And they got some that just had that uh, uh that sound that people just got turned up on, tell me when to go, all that shit. Um um and it's just like I'm glad he had the success. Not my favorite album, but subsequent albums have been dope as fuck. Um One of the albums he had, he took like the chorus from Black Panthers, like breakfast program stuff they were singing to the kids. He added a beat. He like flipped that. It was crazy. And it's just like he's uh, and that's another reason why I fucked with Kendrick because he was talking about E40 and he was talking about that album. What was it? It was not not Charlie Hustle. Man, I got to hear the song again. But he was talking about an album that I was well familiar with. I was like, man, he know about 40? Because whenever I tell people I'm from the Bay, uh, they always San Francisco. You from San Fran? Or if you say it on the East Coast, they'll think you from Florida, parts of Florida. I guess every place it got bays, and you just gotta have like a big enough people. But anyways, I'm from the classic Bay, the Bay areas, but people just think Frisco. So it's like, yeah, I'm like, yeah, Vallejo. I'm like, E40, and that's usually see either E40 or Mac Dre, because now, like, he's got like broader appeal because Drake. People never heard his music, heard Drake mention him. Um, but he my cousin though, bruh. No, I mean, not biologically. His uncle married my aunt. King Kunta. Sorry to get you off topic. Oh no no no. I appreciate it. I mean, this was late night. It was more so me just because I said I was gonna be doing a live. I meant to do it earlier, but I figured I got the time to do it right now, and I'm gonna have like a lot of shit coming up this week, so it's probably not gonna be time for me to do it later. Um, I mean, might do something. I got well after Wednesday. I'm thrown, so I'm gonna be out of town. Um, so yeah, I wanted to do this, and it just had some comments on stuff. It's like historical shit. I wanted to let the people because right now a lot of people are being told that they're racist if they don't vote for this uh, corporate supremacist candidate, Kamala. It's like you got to vote, and it's just like the Democrats are saying to save democracy, you have to vote for this person no one ever voted for. except for like the people who run the Democratic Party, the people who run the undemocratic Democratic Party. Um, and it's just like 2016, just like, oh, everyone supports Bernie. Bernie, everyone loves him. Oh, all this enthusiasm behind Bernie, great. Here's Hillary. She's got the team that's infiltrated. I'm not infiltrated. The system was a built around these criminals. Like they have all the power now. It's being exposed to you. So it's like, yeah, you got to vote Hillary, and it's just like, well, y'all, yes, we got to vote for Hillary. Because Trump is bad. That's what some people said. I was the person saying, um, yeah, count above three. I'm with her, Jill Stein. Get involved, yeah, and I tried to lead by example. But yeah, I understand shit is uh, difficult for everyone. It's hard to keep your eye on the ball. That's why Bernie, he was just like supporting I'm definitely behind the healthcare for all. That's what you know. Barack Obama thought he was going to end wars and give us healthcare for all. Right? He started more wars, brought slavery back to Africa, and yeah, and then he gave us this Obamacare bullshit, where it's just like that's just basically the corporations that run him and run our medical infrastructure. They get guaranteed money from the government for like people who can't pay, right? And then they give you the bullshit because it's just yeah, it's more so they want to keep you attached to a bunch of shit where you'd never get better. What was it? I was watching it's a limited series. It's the Cameron, and one of the kings had a medicine man who kept giving him all of these herbs and shit that were making him sick because that was his job. To maintain job security, he was routinely poisoning his king. Right? You are the king. That's what this healthcare system is designed to. You continue poisoning you and making money, making a living off of it. And it's just like we realize this shit, fucking um, opiate epidemic. All those tweakers, those I'm not even tweakers, I miss the tweakers kind of. I mean, these tweakers they can be violent. I miss crackheads. They can be violent too, but it's better than the zombies, the opiate based fentanyl zombies. Right? Where did they get that opium addiction? Right? It was like the doctor was giving it to them. They had pill mills set up to exploit their addiction, and it's just like the same people who brought us the opioid epidemic. They expected us to force their experimental goo into us, um, when we should be prosecuting them, breaking them up, making them public. We fund all of the research that they do. Why do they get to keep the profits? Um, and it's just like Bernie kind of elucidated some of the points. Like I said, never went after the parent corporation, the hedge fund managers that run everything, because they own our pharmaceutical companies and our healthcare system, like in a package. So that's my healthcare monopoly, my water monopoly. Um, I got energy monopoly, and it's just the same people. I got a monopoly on your food. Bill Gates, he owns 51% of the arable land on America. He's in charge of the food system. They got something called a pill, which is like plastic fruit that they're poisoning you, and they're slipping it into regular food. You know, and it's just like these motherfuckers. Yes, they're evil with our healthcare. They're not really helping us, but then they're also the ones who are making us sick. And then it's just like we're expected to fund all of this shit, all of this private bullshit, These people who their whole job is to just investigate if you have the proper paperwork before you get sick. You got shot in the neck, passing out, dribbling blood, barely can do anything. You got to fill out some paperwork because they don't know if you got the right insurance. You got to have the right card. Like if you're out of network, you got to go somewhere else. It's like, how many other countries is this an issue? Sick, help, to quote Denzel and John Q. And there, I thought Bernie would be on that tip. I mean, Bernie, um, it was he revealed himself, and like I said, I'm not blaming him. He probably got CIA agents. They just got a button that they push whenever he start getting out of line. They're like, I'm gonna push the button, Bernie. I'm watching you. You better say vote Joe. Go Joe. Um, but yeah, uh, um, yeah, I was fell in the connect. I had a Joe Biden moment. Talked about Joe so much, I just went senile because I had a broader point to make about Bernie Sanders. Um, but yeah, the moral of the story. Um, uh, uh, yeah, the Democrats. Um, you know, because watching Bernie, like he was like one of those people. Oh, that's the point. Because Bernie, he was about to. He ran on uh, saying that Medicare, that these corporations shouldn't be between you and your health care. Right? He was like, these companies, they are the problem. Right? Then we have COVID hit. And then it's just nah, we got to give the mandatory vaccinations. Everybody got to get them. You come on. I know I said healthcare for all. How about mandatory vaccinations? Like you don't have a choice. It's the same as healthcare for all. Everybody's getting this shot. Like you will lose your job. You want to feed your kids? Get the damn shot. You're gonna go hungry rather than take the shot. I'm not trying to kill you. I'm trying to feed you. You get the shot. You got to get the shot so you can get the little food, you little peasant crumbs. And then we go. I'm gonna get Nancy Pelosi to tell you about her $50 ice cream and her $20,000 fridge. But yeah, no. Yeah, Bernie. He was just like when he was like enabling and he still doesn't like say anything like, oh, these corporations, they need to be tried, because there's all kinds of other government officials who have called out big pharmaceutical companies that have these sweetheart deals with their government. And yeah, and they were like they got them to admit the higher ups at Pfizer that they never did testing to see if it stopped the spread. So everything we heard about, you gotta get vaccinated to save old people. You want to save grandma? That was all bullshit. Um, yeah, and it's just like Bernie never had. We still haven't had anybody um, really just take that apart. I guess the people who are Republicans. That's why it's just like it's just it's a shift. Because the and my belief is because the Fox News types, the people who really believed all of this shit they were being told about 9/11. Um, they were pushing that war. Um, and they were just like celebrating all of the bullshit that they were being told. Yes, they were going into these rooms where the spin room where they would be told talking points and all that shit, but uh, they were benefiting from the shit. They believed it. Like I think Tucker Carlson, he's in a position where he can believe all of that bullshit. He's like the heir of Swanson food, the frozen food. Like he's already got loot. Ben had loot. Like I got that TV dinner money. Like I'm loaded. Right? He could watch some bullshit on Fox News and believe it. Like, oh, democracy. That's what we're doing. I mean, plus he was trying to be in the CIA and shit. For all I know, he might still be in it. But I've seen him be destroyed by fucking uh, John. What's his name? Daily Show. Jon Stewart. I used to keep up with Jon Stewart routinely. Um, he was like, he was him, Stephen Colbert. I was like, that was the only shows I really watched on my Hulu. When then that was the only reason I had it. It was garbage. Hulu, you get all kinds of ads, so it's just like, yeah. So it's just like he was. When I saw him like destroying Tucker, I was like, man, Tucker's an idiot. Um, and at that point, I mean, he was saying all kinds of dumb shit, but all the pro war. But then I look back on it. Uh, Jon Stewart was like his candidate was a fucking um uh, so forgettable. Uh, the second dude who ran on Bush, he's John Kerry. John Kerry, evil motherfucker. That's who he was voting for. He's still in the business, killing people, um, nonchalantly. But yeah, so he was making fun of Tucker Carlson for supporting George Bush, but his guy was John Kerry, and he was loyal to his soil. Nothing good to say. Just like he'll be a better steward of empire. But yeah, um, but people like Tucker Carlson, they believe the whole line about war. Uh, and then now I think he's disillusioned by it. And I think all of the Fox News viewers who watched him back then, and this might be calculating on Tucker Carlson's part, but they believed it. They fought in these wars. They died, lost someone they loved, lost limbs in these wars. And then they came back and they're like, motherfucker, you was lying to us. And they probably could have like some kind of mail set up, like, man, fuck you, sending all this shit. And he just realized, oh my God, these motherfuckers are going to legitimately kill me. They're trained killers. My government trained these people to kill, and now they are disillusioned. They have a moral injury, about to commit suicide, but they're gonna kill me first. um, I don't know. That's speculation so far at this point. But like I like to think um, that he came to this revelation because he saw everything that we were told about the Iraq War, bullshit. Everything we were told about every war, bullshit. So he's like he had all the most diverse voices, people who I listen to regularly on podcasts. Aaron Mate, um, oh shit. I realize I'm streaming on the wrong live. But anyways, uh, Tucker had all these voices. Anya Parampong, Parampal. She says it with the ethnic sound. I don't want to get too ethnic when I conjugate my vowels, um, because when I have a ambiguous uh, ethnic look. So like if I start to sound too ethnic, people start to think that they need to check my papers. I was, I mean, I got a bunch of stuff, but I've been just um, caught in the wrong store, or not wrong store. It was a perfectly lovely store, but I was like checking out some gear at this one place, and out of nowhere, it's just like someone was just like they started talking to me, and then they looked at me and they were like, "Oh shit, I thought you were the Filipino DJ." I was like, "Oh, okay." Um, I could pass for anything. One time they thought I was what is a Smurf? Smurf. They got light skinned Smurfs. No. Um, there's no money in a cure. Yes. Good luck with channel. That John Stewart was awesome. Oh, yeah, he was pretty dope. Man, he has had a fall from grace. I used to keep up with the what was it uh that's over live stream. I was like streaming on the wrong social media account. All is good. Um, I was uh uh I got sidetracked. Um, oh yeah, John Stewart. Um, yeah, I was keeping up with everything he did. Up until it was just like it was. He had a few. What was that show? It was a show he did on Apple. It was like an episode I didn't watch after, because he was not as critical of a lot of stuff, and I started to suspect, man, it's like some funding issues. Um, and then he went back to was it the the Daily Show, and I think they brought him back because it was just like, I mean, I still think that they got rid of him because in 2016 he had enough money and he was just like I made enough fun of Hillary. I'm not about to be her boy. All right, I don't want to do like, and it's just like one of those things because I was being approached. It was much smaller than his situation, but everybody, it just like it was a switch because I was critical of Hillary in 2008 because she was evil back then. um, and then I saw like Barack Obama brought her into um, his not campaign, but brought her into his White House. And yeah, like he took on her foreign policy, and by that I mean he was horrible. Um, which like I said, two things I thought he would do. One is end war, and the other healthcare for all. And it could be just her influence. Could be he stood for nothing to begin with. It could be like I said, Bernie. I think he got CIA on him. Man, I think um, Barack. I mean, I can see it. It's like footage of Joe Biden just like talking about that. Our president could be shot today, and he what if he just ended? I'm paraphrasing, but he was like just it sounded like a threat to Barack Obama because he was talking about he could die, and it could have been made around that time because he was in office when it was made. But it could have been like when he was like still talking about that health care for all. Okay, what about a public option? What if I just give them a public option? Just like don't have the court, and then like it's the video of Joe Biden saying, "What if he died?" That appeared. Uh, right at this point, that's just speculation. But um, I just wanted to provide like just play the devil's advocate, Barack Obama and all of the Democrats being the devil. I'm just trying to see like the shiniest turd in the poo pile. Um, but yeah, um, Barack Obama at least ran on something. It ended up being bullshit, right? But the people, um, people like myself, it was frustrating. People kept saying you want to vote for Barack Obama because he's black. Because I didn't realize in 2008 he was a total piece of shit. Like I said, he's talking. At least he's talking about the healthcare. It's like Bernie. He was talking about the healthcare. He was talking about ending wars. Talking about change. Change. I should have changed the damn channel. Um, but yeah, and like I said, I mean, who's to say it's all kinds of outside influences that could be directing Barack Obama. Um, I don't want uh, to just say he's just naturally evil. I mean, like I said, he brought in Hillary, Biden. These are some motherfuckers who have history. Biden, he's a Klan member. This motherfucker is like he's creating policies that lock up millions of black people with Strom Thurmond, the 1994 crime bill. He's like one of the co-authors. He's a Klan member. Joe Biden's on the record like uh, uh, he doesn't want his kids to be raised in a racial jungle. And he realized, oh shit, we need these people to create our stuff. Like you look at where we get all of our tech, you think it's Americans? Go to Microsoft and Google, see who's creating your shit. Um, so it's like, yeah. So he's like, okay, um, we need to appeal to these brown people. So let's put a Klan member, one of the good old boys, just get them to control one of these niggers. When it was just like we had the Barack, how we could do Kamala. She's got she could first Indian Attorney General or whatever, the Attorney District Attorney. Uh, Now she's gonna be the first black female president. And it's just like you're racist for not voting for her, because a vote for her is a vote for the Klan members and the Nazis who run the CIA and the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. Let's not forget they're the same thing. That's why I call them Republicrats, the Purple Party. That's why someone else they were talking about we should start another party, uh, and it's just that we could be purple, the Purple Party. I'm like, no. The Republican and Democrat combination is the Purple Party. That is, I mean, purple is the color of royalty. You'd think would be treated like royalty, but it's also royalty is um, the distinction between the two classes, and the people who run the shit. They think that they're the most valuable, even though they contribute nothing. They are the biggest exploiters, and they built up these oppressive systems and think they're special because they are in control and they manipulate them and they benefit them. But it's just like your value is not derived by what you have; it is derived by what you can go without. Um, Something I've been saying, and then I was just rewarded one of the speakers. It was a fellow by the name of Ernie Bridges. He was one of the original SNCC members. Um, and he mentioned that in the speech. I was like, man, I be trying to tell these people. But yeah, that's why it's just like when you got like 100 billion or 1 billion, um, yeah, you have no value. You need the money. Like you need all of that money because you need us to not have it. Like you got more money than you could ever spend. It's just like the intent is to keep the money out of other people's hands, so you can control them and to working against their own interests. It's a old quote is one of the Rothschilds. It's shame. I think it was Nathan Rothschild. Um, but he was like, I have enough money to make one half of the poorest fight the other half. Paraphrasing. Um, but yeah, that view is still believed today. There's definitely an understanding um, that you can control certain people with these bullshit narratives, and people have been controlled for a long time. But now it's just people are disillusioned. That's why the military is not able to meet recruitment numbers. That's why they're trying to bring back the drafts. Um, yeah, and it's just Kamala. Do I see her being any better? No. She won't even tell you what she's running on. She just supports all of the most atrocious war criminal genociders. Um, and it's just like it's disgusting that people are naive people who might be distant from other people of color, and you're getting told on the news, yeah, you got to vote for this person who will work against not only your best interest but the community that you think you're showing loyalty to.
it was like one of the pro Kamala things. Their whole thing, the whole shtick that they had was like one of them was progressive. It was women for Kamala, white women for Kamala. It's like we gotta vote for a sister. We gotta get her. Like they are there for us. And it was just like they had white dudes for Kamala. It's just like we have to show up for black women. They have been there getting progressive white dudes elected. I'm like, what progressive white dude are you talking about? That I mean, Kamala. Do you think she's progressive? Is that what you're alluding to? Or do you think that she would help a progressive person? Bernie Sanders was described as progressive. She put all her weight in to destroy him, even though he had all this enthusiasm, winning multiple states. And then it's just like he got railroaded because that's just all of this shit is corrupted beyond recognition. And it's like certain states are worse. That's why Delaware, that's where all the corporations move to because of Joe Biden. They called him Senator Credit Card. This motherfucker made it impossible for you to get away from your student loan debt. That's guaranteed money for these criminals. Guaranteed money for these criminals. Then we have like Palestine. They have millions of World War One era chemical agents that were used as chemical weapons dumped into their water, and we spend not a penny on that shit. I mean, I'm sure it was some fanfare. They wasted more money on propaganda than actually fixing the problem, guaranteed. Um, and I think they targeted East Palestine because it looked like East Palestine, and one of them was they had their Zionist coach in the game room, and they're like, "You better just that you got Palestine in America." It's like, no, it's East Palestine. No, it's Palestine, East Palestine. Kill it. You show loyalty to me. Destroy this American town. Dump all these chemicals in it. That's a working theory at this point. I'm still waiting for the evidence, but seeing what they're doing in Gaza, I could believe it. Um, yeah. So it's just like, yeah, we ain't did nothing to clean the water in any other city, state. But we got trillions of dollars to kill people, building all these robot armies. um, Not helpful robots. We putting flamethrowers on dogs. So these billionaires like they're getting ready for war. And now it's just like they're like we got the third generation. And they're working on the next level shit and we're funding it. And it's just like that's why it's just Fred Hampton said it best. I am a revolutionary. You got to say it every day. Say it all the damn time. Do something about it. Participate in revolutionary action. Voting for Kamala is not that action. I can't do Kamala. No. Yes, it's a bridge too far. Um, and it's just like it's disrespectful how they make it seem like yeah you just got to do it. And it's just I mean my family who are they're connected, they're like Kamalas in their job choices, connected to criminal justice or criminally unjust justice systems. um yeah, so they just see that like I think like that, but it's just like yeah, that's the problem. I wouldn't put you in charge of this shit either. It's just like because when you got certain jobs, you can't not take your job home. If you're disrespectful, people like this. Do you understand how criminal what she did was? Like locking up poor parents. Poor parents like couldn't get their kid to school, truant for whatever reason. Um, some of it is just like, oh, car broken. I got uh, all kinds of ailments from poverty. I'm in lead water. I'm like being poisoned. I couldn't do it. My baby had to take care of me. Um, it's just like all kinds of reasons instead of like figuring out how to make that shit better. you lock up the parents. So, you know, it's just not just that. You know, she was rah rah in every war. Um, I remember in 2019. I mean, this was like when the media was trying to turn her into a thing. Um, and it was uh, uh, one of the this was before she got destroyed by Tulsi Gabbard. I never was like rah rah Kamala. No, I didn't see that as representation of that I would want. But it was just like one of the things like they were one of the uh, media shows they were trying to hype her up with this clip, and because you know at that point they were trying to just get us to just shit on Donald Trump, and they had this clip of Kamala. She was just like, you know, if I were president, I would censor Donald Trump on all social media. He wouldn't be able to get away with his lies. So Donald Trump, he can't speak on social media. The president, and she's saying this, and I'm someone. This is my 10th commiseration of losing my Nate's Vlogs channel, my largest channel, and being shadow banned and fucked over by this social media platform bullshit ever since. All kinds of just fuckery um, and manipulation. And it's just like I've experienced it, and I'm just like I think we don't need to censor anybody, let alone the president. If he is as bad as you say he is, that means we can't censor him. We have to listen. What if he's going to nuke Russia, but he was going to send a tweet before giving the people like 24 hours notice? You know, and it's just but we can't hear what he has to say. So if she's willing to shut the president down, that means she'll censor anybody, and it's just like at that point it makes no sense. Um, and she thinks that's like a selling point, and the news thought that was a selling point. Then we start seeing more and more people get censored. Um, and then you know COVID hit and shit. I lost 3 more channels, so it's just like I've never fucked with Kamala. Every time I hear her speak, I just think of more reasons why I do not fuck with her. Um, and yeah, and it's just sad and shameful that they're trying to make this a thing. Um, but I'm also heartened by the fact that the only people I've heard like actually advocate for her are my family. But then when I say that out loud, maybe they're the only people really comfortable enough to say it. But then, you know, like I said, I was talking to a speaker at the event, incredibly smart, and he's got like quite the audience. He's being mobbed like celebrity as well, and he understood the perils of Kamala or just voting for anybody who look like skin folk but is not your kinfolk. Held evidence from an innocent man. Yes. LOL. Freedom of speech. Yep. Terrible all around. I can't do Kamala. Yep. Well, yeah. My sentiments exactly. I came from Nate's Vlogs OG days. Yeah. I'm happy to have you. But I guess we want to be technical. The OG days of the artists who created Nate's Vlogs will be my picks. Most people, they don't have that understanding. I mean, there's some people who recognize me from like that shit, but I also have like when people say Nate's Vlogs, OG days. A lot of times they're thinking of employee evaluations, rewinds. That shit happened years later. um, yeah, I think rewind started like 2011 ish, towards the end, like around Christmas, and then uh, employee evaluations had like happened like 09-ish, or yeah, something like that. It was because I mean, I don't know if you real OG Nate's vlogs, just that channel, not the artist. The real OG Nate's vlogs. You remember uh, me starting to use the whiteboard. I was like, one of the last times when I was like going through my catalog when I still had my Nate's vlogs videos, I was surprised at all the whiteboard videos I did. But most people came around during employee evaluations, and I think that's when I first started. But that was like not kind of trial and error, um, because it was first video was serious. Because on my My Picks channels, I kind of had like vlog type videos, but did a lot of character stuff. Some stuff I just it was myself, but um, I would be silly, it'd be like me doing a character when speaking, and it was just it was always comical. So Nate's vlogs started off me like responding to some racist cat on YouTube. This is back when you could do the video response, and then I was just like calmly, collectedly, just breaking down. Then I was like bringing in different literature that I had come across to help elucidate whatever point. And I was just like, it was like super dark, super dark, super serious. I'm talking about like the lighting was just like dark. But it was super dark and serious as well, tonally. Um, and then I posted the video, and then um, I caught myself and I was like, is that really the tone I want to set? I mean, I definitely want, because it was just like, I viewed it as like, I'm doing characters over here, silly over here on my picks. And Nate's vlogs is just like, because some people, they thought that that was my actual point, like when I'm being sarcastic and facetious. And then I just like, it'll be like, clarify, okay, this, on Nate's vlogs, I clarify, okay, I'm being serious about this, and it's going to be, and then I just yeah, I flipped it up on them, and I mean, first stuff was really just like people, like I was talking about different events that I went to, like I was getting invited to stuff like YouTube Live, so I was meeting like Katy Perry's and fucking was it Reggie Watts? Didn't know who he was. Discovered him later in different stuff. um, yeah, and it was just like a lot of other people who were big specifically on YouTube at the time. Um, but yeah, uh, yeah, that's the what Netflix started. Nate's vlogs started off as, um, and then I started getting like people from that channel, the other channel, requesting me to talk about certain subjects. But the thing that really made me start, because Netflix was always just a side channel, I never even thought about. I would often forget to post on this shit because my bread and butter was my picks for so long. Then one day I got approached by someone at a TV network, and they wanted to use some of my clips for a show, and then they wanted to ask that I review other movies, um, like and they pay me for it, and then like I sent in the clips, and I was like, okay, so it's like it's me being myself reviewing a movie, and then I got me in more stuff, so that's when I started to kind of like take that um, Nate's vlog stuff more serious, like I was just putting out like my thoughts and opinions, no characters. And then um yeah, and then as that channel grew, a lot of opportunities came from it. But yeah, it was just I started to miss doing the other stuff, so I started to bring the character stuff in different ways, like voiceovers and all that shit. But yeah, that's the OG, the Nate's vlog story. If you came in during a rewind or employee evaluation, you were years late. But it's whenever you discover it, it's always just flattering. I mean, but it's just like I've had multiple people tell me, like, what happened when you were like the OG? You did this, and it's like, dude, yeah, I saw that video was like 6 years into my reign, and it was like really a response to a different video that I addressed something in, and and it's just like you can't really um, predict when people will discover you. That's why it's just like I see a lot of people because when I was a kid, what I did was not a thing. I used to want to be an actor. That was like my biggest dream, be on TV. But if you got on TV, you're automatically a billionaire, and they got to pay you for the rest of your life. But um, yeah, I got on my first TV show back in 2008, and that shit was. I'm glad I had other opportunities because it was like $110. I mean, I was able to say what I want to say, but that particular thing it's not really acting. I was a writer and personality, and it's just like, but I enjoyed that aspect of it. Not so happy with the other stuff I didn't have control over, but yeah, getting on as an actor, I've been like offered a lot of stuff. Some stuff I participated in, I feel silly. I mean, some stuff. I mean, I'm prepared to feel silly if I like um, what the broader message is, right? But I've been offered some duds, and it's just like, um, yeah, if I'm not in control of the message, I mean, and I've given people like uh, grace, like just I'll trust the vision, But it's just like you see, like what it's like I'm watching The Boys, or I finished it. But they had one episode with Will Ferrell and the black supernatural character. He was like has a high speed. He's like basically the Flash or Quicksilver, and like the whole movie was based on some white dude, Will Ferrell's character, teaching him how to be the fastest person on earth. Right. That's what the whole thing was like. He was saving them, and it was like they had all the tropes from those. What was it, Dangerous Mind type movies where the white person moves in and that's the only person who could help these black people. So it's just like that in my experience when the good stuff or the stuff that seems like it pays well um presents itself, it's that kind of stuff. It's stuff that does not advance the culture. And when I was flush with a lot of stuff, maybe it's my blessing, maybe it's just yeah, I rather do something that I actually believe in. I mean, if as long as I can pay the rent, as long as I can take care of all the stuff. I mean, I want to do it regardless. But like when it's just like a financial um, opportunity presents to do something stupid, like I'm not saying the job I had in Chicago was stupid. I'm using that as an example. I mean, because I was offered something a while ago. That one I didn't even read the script. Didn't matter because I was busy with stuff in LA. But uh yeah, the um it was I didn't even care about the money because um I was just fulfilled creatively doing my own shit, like when I had like that my own stuff. And that's when I'm like in control creatively, I'm writing my own shit. That's when I noticed like my views would be going up. This is like 2012, 2011 YouTube when they started like bringing in all these networks. I noticed my views are going up, and my money is going down somehow. And at that point, I was getting all these messages from different networks, and they were talking about all this extra funding they can get you, and only started getting worried when I started to get below 2,000 a month, and and then I just I was like, I'll see what they can do, and then I participated in the demise of YouTube, or watching they set this whole shit up. I just was scared enough to jump in, and um yeah, so it's just like that. That's like most entertainers or that you see on the social media. Well, I can't say that because full screen they ended up like kicking all of the artists out. But then it's just like they also, because AT&T, they own like 1/6 or more of all the media. So and then when you look at the hedge fund managers that run all this shit, they own everything. And I mean, they want to own everything. You just got to be able to say I can't be sold. Um, that's when they get the assassin. RP to Trump's ear. I'm not saying he can't be sold. I'm just using that as an example. The Gadget Channel was cool too. Yeah, that's what you're probably watching this on. At least I think. Um, yeah, because the Gadget Channel. Um, I don't post any edited content on YouTube because it's a waste. I mean, I think of all of the time I invested in creating for it, like those motherfucking. It was a 30-minute rewind. First, I mean, maybe it's just I'm just getting doing too much, but it was like I took a break from doing the rewinds because it was like being jerked around by the YouTube, but I want to do something for my viewers. So I did like a 30-minute rewind, something that had been requested like for a very long time. And then I did previous rewinds where I like glossed over stuff, so I got into the nitty gritty of a movie that people had requested, and it was perfect. I was like gonna have it like a Halloween release because it was what was it? The movie about the witches. I'm not even gonna mention their name because I don't want the company to get any fucking views. But it was a 30-minute rewind. Release it on Halloween or the day before or something like that. But then it's just like I ended up getting like claimed, um, and they held it for months until after Halloween, and then after that, like they released it, they set it up so all of the ad revenue was going to this evil fucking company that bought up the networks that govern YouTube, and they own even more media. I mean, it's just like I said, we're getting into hedge fund managers. They own everything. Um, yeah, and then now they're actively making everything worse. Nothing is new. It's just like I was talking to a young whippersnapper, uh, talking about going to the movies. I was like, oh my god, I feel bad for you. You don't know what a new movie is. You don't know what a movie that's not a sequel, prequel, threequel, whatever. It's just like everything is owned intellectual property where the actor doesn't matter, the director doesn't matter. Like they just put in who they want to get across whatever message that fits into their agenda, and everything is garbage because of it. It's just total garbage. It's just like they just take your childhood heroes because some soulless corporation owns the right to it, and then they just use that to peddle their agenda. Um, yeah, and it is. Shame. That's why I don't pay for streaming services. I got Napster. You may not know what Napster is. Napster allows me to download any app, games, any movie, any music, anytime, anywhere, free. Absolutely free. Because I refuse to pay the studio or the people who bought up the intellectual property rights to the shit that they didn't create. They have enough money. They're buying up art. That they didn't create. They're preventing like competition, buying up patents to things they didn't create. So it's just like I refuse to invest in that. So Napster, no ads. You stream when you want, download wherever. It's the freest, bestest thing. I'm surprised that they only recently invented it. It's crazy. Yeah, and it's also they got alternatives, some LimeWire. Man, it's a lot to keep up with. So it's just like I got all the links on my MySpace account. So check me out there. Um, Demise of YouTube. Yeah, YouTube is garbage. You didn't notice? They they uh they kicked off everybody who spoke against the medication that they were directly invested in. That was not so good. It did not work as they advertised. And if you pointed that out, they took you off. That's criminality. These motherfuckers are engaged in criminality. And you got the engineers, the people who create the shit that Google is known for. They are needed for all of the technological advances that Google makes. These people, the essential workers, um, they were being arrested in droves, losing their jobs for speaking out against Google using their technology, their intellectual property, to kill a bunch of innocent civilians in Gaza, Ukraine. Man, going back before years before the October 7th event, it was Project Maven. Uh, the Middle East was set on fire. People were afraid to go outside because these drones that Google was or their engineers were unwittingly helped them make. Um, they were bombing the wrong person 90% of the time, right? And they thought that they were just doing some. They didn't know. Many of them didn't know um, that the software that we're creating was used to kill people. They just think it's like a friendly, hey, yeah, like a way of finding grandma through cameras or something. Um, they found out what was going on. They protested. Thousands of them came out. Project Maven was terminated, so they can call it something else and make them think that they changed the continuity of the empire. But no, Google, Microsoft, all these companies, um, yeah, they loot you, um, so they have the money to fund your oppression. So you are funding your oppressors. That's why it's just revolution. Google, Microsoft, all of these deep state puppets. I mean, deep state puppeteers. Um, yeah, they are looting you, and it's just like they support all of these candidates that you think you have to vote for to stop the other guy. So the only answer is what would disrupt this whole system they got going. And my solution is the revolution. But that's only because I got a consciousness that was conjured out in Kemet. The devil had to bend it, burn it down, condemn it. The history is intended to get us at contentment, because if you knew where you descended, you'll contend that shit and end it. And they gonna get offended when our people represent it, because they system intended to keep us all segmented. The new system implemented when your enemies befriended. Unite so we can win this, get this revolution finished. Oh, but that was all of the comments. I didn't realize I had to scroll down, but I am getting off shortly. Went long past I was expecting. I was asking for elaboration. He means it used to be. Okay, what is elaboration? Demise of YouTube. I hope that explained it. Yeah, YouTube is garbage. It was funded by government money from the initial. It was started on Bill and Melinda Gates' lab in Stanford with our money. And all of the stuff that they create, yeah, I mean, they bypass the stuff that would save our planet to prevent it from getting to the market. Their motto used to be "Don't be evil." They changed it. I think now it's "Be very evil" or "Be the puppet, the mechanism used by the CIA, the Nazis, and the CIA and the FBI to control people." um, yeah, everything coming out is ass cheeks. I literally just started seriously looking at YouTube. That's why I was asking. Start looking at YouTube. Oh no. Well, I mean, I'm streaming this from my Rumble, but YouTube is an option, and the only channel I have is Tech Channel. But yeah, the primary is through Rumble. Um, and I had another device that was streaming on um, Instagram, but it was a new Instagram that I'm selling my gear on, and no one is following me there. So I was like, "Why is nobody speaking?" I was like, "Yeah, because this one is still in still being created." I mean, I shared with some people at this event, and I probably should just hide the stream because that was like not what this was intended. Um, but yeah, that's something for me to do. Yeah, so I'm gonna get to that, and I gotta find something to eat. Didn't eat all day. Um, yeah, but I ate a lot yesterday. It was a long plane ride, and I had like I had to get receipts for the food because we had like a per diem, and it was like we got a food card, and then we had to get the other stuff. So it's just man, it was I was not I was not wanting for anything by the end of the day. Even though I stopped eating before I landed, um, I was just like I was stuffed from just getting the proof of eating. But yeah, all was good. Cape Crusader, a pretty good show. Nate, new animated Batman show. I saw the preview for that. Saw the preview for my the cat who got me to sign to full screen because I called him and I was being courted by all kinds of networks, and he told me um, about his experience with full screen. This was also before they got bought by AT&T, I believe. But yeah, he was on this set of X-Men 1997 or some shit like that. And I thought it was just them bringing back the old episodes, but they like tweaked it and shit. And it was like a continuation where they brought back. Well, in the comic books, they have Onslaught, who was like an amalgamation of Professor X and Magneto. But I mean, I've never seen them represented in any media. I mean, animated media or live action. Um, you would think he'll be a world threat like Thanos or some shit. Now that they bring in um, I don't even want to get into breaking down that shit because that's owned by the devil. But that's why I saw the Batman thing. I thought of that. It's like, yeah, they just want to bring back an old show, and then the fans of the show who grew up watching it, they just pitch all this script. They probably do it for free, and then they just take the stuff they like, don't give them credit, mix it with other stuff, and then it's just like the shit show runs itself. right? You have all the leverage because you own the intellectual property. And it's just like it's such a beloved IP that people will watch it even when it's garbage because it's just like they associate it with the comics that they read. They think you're gonna be touching on all this shit, right? And they're gonna share with the next generation. At that point, it becomes a religion. That's what the Bible is. It's a set of shared stories that people derive values from. Some people, like the people who are pro-slavery, they cited the Bible as to why we need slaves, and the people who are anti-slavery cited the Bible as well. You can do the same shit with a episode of Spider-Man or the X-Men. um, yeah, and yeah. So the shit like Batman, all that stuff. I mean, I definitely um I really don't want to. If I'm gonna watch it, I try to watch it bootleg or on somebody else's account, so I'm not paying for it. And we're still in them, still in that shit, because it's just like the people who own the intellectual property value. Those are the ones getting the money, not the artist who created it. Um, and it's just like, and it just shits on the concept of up and coming writer, creating the next big thing. Like the next um, Quentin Tarantino. The next person who has like this weird shit, this crazy perspective. I'm not saying, well, Quentin Tarantino, I think he might have been also accosted for being a Zionist. I don't know. I didn't watch the video, but it's like it was like some stuff. It's just like I don't know if he's threatening to kill Palestinians or anything. Maybe that's not a good example. But I'm just talking about like I like the quirky stuff. Like I like the fucking um, sorry to bother yous. Something that's just like every step is like it throws you off because you don't know what to expect. It's something new or something different, something that's saying something. Um, a lot of that stuff that they, man, that shit, it does not have a soul. I used to be one of those people because I was a comic book nerd when it was not cool to be one, right? Um, like I was a comic book nerd when you actually had to like read the comic books. There was like not really cartoons to uh illustrate, the stuff that becomes easier to digest for mainstream folks. I was collecting, I still got my comic book card collection, my comic books. They got water damage. I was like thinking I could retire on those motherfuckers. Um, but yeah, so it's just like, um, the the people who own that shit, they prevented like because the creators of all these comic books, they're this intellectual property. Many of them have died, and they're not benefiting from all of this shit at all. And it's just like not even their family is the next biggest benefactor. They might have some kind of a partnership, some kind of a contract where their family gets a small portion, but it's just like it comes packaged in these little neat tidy balls. It's like fucking when Jeff Bezos bought fucking was it Paramount? He might have bought multiple studios, but it was like he bought Universal, like the whole Universal catalog of all these movies. Many of them existed before he was born. So it's like he's buying IP shit he did not create. He was not around to be the muse of any of these movies, but now he just owns all of this shit. He shuts shit down. He owns the news, several news articles, even the stuff he doesn't own, he can influence. And yeah, and it's just like I hate knowingly giving them the money. That's why Napster. Just go to Napster. You can watch all of that shit for free. You ain't got to worry about paying these thieves. And plus, you just you know, why are you paying for all of these streaming services with ads? Napster is free. I know it sounds too good to believe. Napster. It's crazy. It just got invented. Napster, if you don't want to do that, LimeWire, uh, and something called Pirate Bay. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's all new. Sorry to bother you was fucking nutty in the end though. Yeah, that was pretty knuckin' futz. Um, but it's just yeah, it caught you off guard. But then I mean, if you're gonna be a revolutionary gang, I mean, do you want to be uh equisexual? Is that was he predicting anything? Have you seen the equisexual and the LGBTQIA plus thing? I don't know. Um, I always watch bootleg shit. I watch my shit on 123 movies, uh, and watch cartoons online. Yeah, watch more bootlegs. I mean, that's how I used to. A lot of the rewinds, I got them on sites, not the sites you mentioned, but it was like one site I had. It was a doozy. You can count on like the new movies that come out, like, and I'm talking like excellent quality. Like as soon as it hits the theater, it was on there. Some of the stuff I have seen, like people like the whole stereotypical people filming the movie in the theater. Um, but yeah, all that shit gets shut down. Um, yeah. But and I've talked to people who experience being having the FBI or government officials show up to their house for bootlegging. So that means that that means that your internet service provider is spying on you for the government. That's why I say AT&T is the Verizon. These are some companies too big to fail in the current um, way the system is structured right now. Because it's one of those. These are the companies that are being funded by you to oppress you. So yeah, that's why I did revolution. Uh, Kamala's not gonna save that, and I've been said I was gonna get off, but I see like the people from different sites showing up. Uh, sorry, I couldn't. There's no way to add Instagram on here. That's like usually one of the most popular places to do it. I wasn't expecting to have anybody showing up this late, and I'm realizing how late it is. Uh still have the comic books. Yes, man. I wish I had. I was about to mention some of the stuff I had, like limited edition stuff that they ended up like using as source for some of the movies. But then I realized, yes, it doesn't mean anything. Like I said, I had the original uh, action comics with Superman, but I did have some like not that old stuff, but like '90s stuff that's based on a lot of that a lot of the stuff in theaters is based on. Um, and I had like the limited edition. What was it? The stuff with that pretty holographic shit on it. And it's just like I was expecting like this is I'm gonna retire on this by the time I'm 22. Uh, and then I had a sewage pipe break in my house and everything in my room. But a lot of my comic book cards were fucked up too. But I did salvage some of that shit, and it does my heart. It hurt because if you knew how much I invested, not just time, money, getting down to the comic book store, and then I would just like finger through the comic books, and I would have to buy stuff to just be allowed back in. Some of the stuff I got at garage sales, but I got just so much shit. Like the garage sale stuff was that OG stuff, like the 1960. I got some stuff in pretty good condition um, for dirt cheap. Um, back when comics were a nickel. But yeah. Goes back. Not sure you understand how intellectual property works based on your rambling so far. Yes, intellectual property. We're talking about how. intellectual property gets packaged. When you see mergers, AT&T buys this studio, that whatever, this company buys that company, and it has all these intellectual properties. Um, yeah, that happens a lot. Like I said, we're run by hedge fund managers, so it's like, yeah, it is IP. That's why we don't see any creativity, because all of the people bought up all of the valuable intellectual property stuff that people will pay to see regardless of if it's garbage or not, because they just identify with those characters. And like I said, they get these characters to suit their agenda. And I thought I articulated that. You can say, I like brevity, but it's a lot of nuances in the statement that I was hoping to get across. Ramblings, okay. Let's split the difference. I was pontificating on it. Man, what? Appreciate the stream, bro. Yes, I appreciate it too, and I am also getting tired because it's almost 2 o'clock. But and I was like not expecting to go on. It's like, yeah, 2 hours in. Jeez. But like I said, I was expecting to just kind of say my piece on um, the other issues, because when I was talking to my family, that just made me, I gotta address this shit, just so no people are walking around as confused as my sibling, motherfucker who thought Ronald Reagan was great until his 40s. And I brought it up. I was like, okay, so you thought Ronald Reagan was great to your 40s. Now you realize the error of your ways. But you don't think there's a chance that you can be wrong about Kamala? Like, I mean, I had to help you get to this point of just being able to say, because it's hard to hold these two thoughts. Uh, Ronald Reagan is great, and I think I'm a Black Panther because he targeted the Black Panthers, right? That, like, their ideology was cancer to the world he was building. Um, and it's just he had to be in his 40s to understand these were conflicting. And then it's just like all of this shit. You can't even just like pause for a moment of doubt, since you've been wrong before. And there've been times in history where I've been able to sound prophetic for recognizing certain patterns at play. I don't know. But yeah, so it's just like that was the reason for me wanting to get on. I appreciate you guys helping me get distracted and catching up with you. I understand um, you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, and it's so fucking late. You guys might have insomnia. I'm gonna start a partnership with a pharmaceutical. I'm gonna start getting funded by Pfizer. We're gonna have some new pharmaceutical drugs to help you with your sleep. Well, they're not gonna help you with your sleep, but it's gonna help Pfizer with the quarterly earnings. Ronald was the beginning of the end, man. Man, that's a long. You trying to get me going to 8 o'clock in the morning? Um, we already had a system in place. He was a continuation of it. We need those movements that Nixon had to squash, that he was scared of. May Day 1971 was the biggest civil disobedience event uh, in American history so far. That's when millions of people hit the streets. They had the draft at that point, so people were motivated because they were seeing their brothers, sisters going to war, coming back with no limbs or not coming back. Um, so it's just like, now they're bringing the draft back. Are they trying to bring back May Day 2024? Um, I don't know. I like to think so. I like to think doesn't matter what they're trying to do. We need to come together. Um, and yeah, so I'll be updating you with some new stuff. I gotta set up. I already got like um some content that I'm going to be putting elsewhere. So, and it's going to be a lot of the Revolutionary Guard, radically threaded stuff on radically threaded on the social um, So I'll update you with all that. I'm at work right now. Shit, you're keeping me up, bro. Yeah, no, I'm not. Yeah, this 2 hours in, it's time to go. I'm sleepy as shit, but I enjoyed your conversation or enjoyed your participation. Don't forget to be good to each other, and you don't have to be racist. This not like Kamala Harris. So yeah, be good to each other unless they're fascists. Then it's time to cool them. Toodles, peace.